You may not have known this, but I really like the Indiana Jones movie series. You might call me a bit of a fan. So when I heard that they were making a fourth Indiana Jones movie, I had to watch the trailer right away. So I've watched this a few times, and I have heard all of the rumors. I will spoil the one main rumor, which is the central plot of the movie, because eventually they're going to have to reveal that's what it's about, probably with the next trailer. So this will be a total spoiler review based off. Well, if you've heard the rumor, then pretty well, so much stuff in the trailer makes sense. So yeah, spoiler warning. I'm going to spoil it. I'm not. I'm not just going to spoil it. I'm going to like extrapolate upon it and tell you what's probably exactly going to happen in the movie because I'm good at that stuff. So yes, if you want to go into Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, cold, stop this video now. You can go watch one of my other videos. All right. So last warning. I'm going to spoil everything. Okay? All right, so let's watch this trailer for Indiana Jones and the Soap of Destiny.
I miss the desert.
Looks like a Cairo sequence. I assume Cairo because Salo's in this. And where else could he live? He has to stay in Cairo his whole life. Because remember Cairo? I just want to say, I think this trailer looks cool. It's just that, well, once we get to the plot. So this movie starts in 1969. So they're cheating his age by about 10 years. If Indiana Jones was the same age as Harrison Ford, the movie would take place in 1978, and Indiana Jones could go watch Star Wars. But anyway, yeah, they're cheating it back to 1969. The press releases say it has to do with the space race, and there is an Apollo 11 ticker tape parade in this. And it's like, oh, I don't like how the Nazis are working at NASA, but I don't think that's actually gonna be a major part of the plot because I think they're trying to obfuscate what the actual plot is from people because people are gonna be like, what?
I miss the sea.
So I've obviously watched this trailer like 3 times. The Dial of Destiny is an object. It's the MacGuffin. It's the thing that he has to find, like the headpiece for the Staff of Ra, or the tablet of Alexandretta. Wait, no, it wasn't Alexandretta. It was Alexandria. No, it was, well, whatever that shield thing was the knight had. So what they're doing here is, because I see the ocean, they're gonna ape the Antikythera mechanism, which was this device that was found around 1908 in Greece, and it dates from like I want to say like it's before Christ. It's like 200 BC, so it's the Hellenistic period. So it's from Greece, ancient Greece, and it's this super elaborate. Well, it's not complete, but it's this really elaborate like clock with like thousands of teeth on all these gears and what they've like 100 years later they could scan it with computers and actually well non-destructively scan it, and they figured out that it was meant to track the planets and whatnot for navigation on the sea. So you'd say, okay, if Jupiter's over here, crank it in. If the sun's over there, crank it in. If the North Star's over there, crank it in. Then crank, 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 and it would tell you, oh, you're at this location on the. It was kind of like a astral GPS, but it was all mechanical, and it's one of those things where it's like we had no idea something like that could be built at that period in time. This is called the Antikythera mechanism. I know that's. I don't even know how to spell it, so I don't know how you'd search. I'm sure some of you have seen it on the History Channel. So I think that's what they're aping. And anyway, it was found in the ocean. It wasn't that deep. It was like 40 feet down. I think a casual scuba diver found it. It was just laying there, so probably from a shipwreck. And they probably had tons of them back then. They probably had one on every ship or every important ship. It's really interesting if you've never heard about it. It's one of those things where it's like, oh, they had the people in the past were more technologically advanced than we probably thought. That's a whole other can of worms. Anyway, yes. So I think they're gonna the Dial of Destiny is kind of aping the Antikythera mechanism, which again is a real thing. All right, so this movie is about time travel. the leftover Nazis in 1969 want to go back in time to help themselves win the war. That's the plot. And you can see he's got a drawing here. It looks like some sort of vase, but I'm guessing this is meant to be misinterpreted. That's going to be the time machine. So there's what did they call it? Die Glock was one of the rumored German inventions, which was either going to be a time machine or an anti-gravitational device like a UFO. Real life, the Nazis thought they were the descendants of Atlantis. Yeah, so the Aryan race means that you're from Atlantis, as in, yes, the lost continent of Atlantis. Maybe that's why they wanted the time machine. So anyway, again, they're basing this off of things from reality. The Antikythera mechanism is real. Die Glock is a rumor, although I think they found like where they were trying to build it, and it kind of looks like a bell. And I think one of the newer Wolfenstein games had representations of it, like when they go to Venus. It's like, oh, this is the one of the spaceships looks like a bell. So that this obviously doesn't look like a bell, but I'm guessing this is a drawing that's been misinterpreted. And so I think what's going to happen is the Nazis build a time machine, but to make it work, they need one final piece, which is going to be the Dial of Destiny. And I'm guessing, kind of like in Hellboy, they're going to try to do it like during World War II and fail, and then 25 years later, one of the Nazis is going to try again, and Indiana Jones will be involved both times. It's like, you found the original piece, or something like that. It's just a myth. It's a legend.
I miss waking up every morning.
So this is obviously World War II, because you got some Nazis here and an exploding castle. So, it's probably near the end of World War II, if blowing up castles in Germany, or well, not blowing up their own castles. So yeah, I guarantee the movie will open with a flashback action sequence with the younger Indiana Jones, probably during World War II, probably guessing around 1944. Or 1945, actually. They'll probably put it at the very tail end. See how they're getting their crap pushed in here?
What wonderful adventure.
Again, a train is not going to have an anti-aircraft gun on it in 1969, so this is, again, probably the prologue. But the thing is, again, since this movie involves time travel, the characters from 1969 will also go back to the 1930s, I think that's the rumor. So there would be Nazis there, too. They wouldn't be in a world war yet. It would be like, the old Indiana Jones movies.
The new day will bring to us.
This is my collection of artifacts. They belong in a museum.
Those days of
Here's my problem with all these movies like Blade Runner 96,000 and Han Solo Adventures and this movie. I don't see those characters. I see old Harrison Ford. And, I hope I look that good when I'm 80, but I don't see Indiana Jones. I see, maybe it's because he doesn't have a hat on. He looks kind of unkempt here. Look at this shirt. I guess he is an old man.
come and gone.
Perhaps.
It's Sala! He's still alive! Nobody tosses a dwarf.
No.
So this movie is supposed to come out in summer of 2022. Why was it delayed a year? Looks like he's found an Avatar mummy.
I don't believe in magic.
Indiana Jones does not believe in magic. Isn't Indiana Jones a scientist and he's seen magic on many occasions? He still doesn't believe in it. It's still just a ghost story. This would be like putting a UFO in an Indiana Jones movie. You just shouldn't do it because it's dumb. Everyone knows Indiana Jones is like religious stuff.
But a few times in my
That looks like this whole train thing is in the past.
life.
Okay, so check this out. This is obviously a digitally de-aged Mads Mikkelsen, who is an actor, obviously, who is in this movie, but he doesn't look like that now. So they've used a computer to turn him into George McFly here, because obviously he was involved in the 1940s experiment that failed, and then he's going to try again like 25 years later. Well, I suppose, yeah, if this is at the end of the war, like 1945. Again, that's basically the plot of Hellboy. It's like, oh, we must do something desperate to win the war. Let's go back in time and give ourselves an atom bomb or something. I don't know. Maybe that's what they're going to do. I mean, they were trying to build one.
Those same things.
There's your anti-aircraft gun again.
Things I
Oh, wow. Antonio Banderas is Mel Gibson in Indiana Jones 5.
things I can't explain.
There is the titular Dial of Destiny. So see all like the fine teeth and all the lines. Now this is going to be a time machine device, but it's obviously based on the Antikythera mechanism. Like, oh, here's some ancient thing from the past. And it's kind of like a computer, but in this case, it's also going to be magical. So what's going to happen is, yeah, there's like, this is the missing part to make the time machine work. Like maybe, oh no, is it going to be, again, is it going to be just like Hellboy? Like, oh no. Because remember in Hellboy, they had Rasputin, and he had that big vacuum tube thing on his hand, and it was a representation of the hand of doom that Hellboy actually had. You know how he had that red hand? So it's like Rasputin tried to make a facsimile of it. Well, the Nazi engineers would have built it, not Rasputin. Rasputin didn't know how to do anything. So the Nazi engineers built a replica of this demon hand, and were trying to use it to open a portal. So yeah, oh, okay. Yeah, I bet it's the same thing. It's like the Nazis will probably try to do the experiment in the 1940s, and it won't work because they don't actually have the real Dial of Destiny. But Old Man Hands, Indy here, is going to find it in 1969, and then the machine will work. This is exactly what the plot's going to be. Guaranteed.
And I've come to believe it's not so much what you believe.
So this is an Apollo 11 ticker tape parade in New York. Because the press materials say, oh, this movie revolves around Operation Paperclip, which was America giving amnesty to certain Nazi scientists to work on the space program, such as Werner von Braun. I don't think that's what the movie's really going to be about, but that's why it starts in 1969. It's also probably the same kind of thing where like, oh, and like let's say they'd made a fourth Indiana Jones movie, and somebody in some art department drew a picture of Indiana Jones looking at a nuclear bomb mushroom cloud, and they're like, oh, that looks really cool. Indiana Jones is seeing a nuclear explosion. Let's put that in the movie for some reason. It's probably the same thing. It's like, oh, Indiana Jones is in space.
It's how hard you believe it.
Indiana Jones has some speed squares. This looks like a young man hand. Young man hand. Young. This is a younger man's hand. Look how the hat's perfect. So this also looks like it's in the past. Oh, okay. Let's back that up a bit. So this character is supposed to be the granddaughter of Marcus Brody. That's the rumor, at least. So check out this face here. This is obviously Greek. There's some text back here, which is probably also Greek. I don't know. I don't know Greek because it's all Greek to me. But this face is Greek. So yeah, this is totally going to be some Antikythera mechanism stuff. Yeah, so definitely this Dial of Destiny was made by the Greeks. And it's totally the Antikythera mechanism. He's punching everyone in this trailer. Oh, it's that one guy. Okay, so it's not the Millennium Falcon. Yeah, it looks like they're going through a time portal. They're gonna try to hide it as long as they can, but this movie has time travel. That way you can see young Indiana Jones and old Indiana Jones meet each other because, oh my God, Spider-Man did it! Even though, again, this movie was supposed to come out a year ago. That's weird. I assume this guy is some sort of like Boys from Brazil Nazi. He's got a Russian machine gun, though. That's a Russian machine gun. You can tell by the cross-section on the barrel. Those. Well, there's some sort of head laying next to her on that car. What was that all about? Oh, looks like some sort of dorky scientist guy. So this is like got some Terminator 2 stuff going on here. Oh, is she strangling him with his tie? What? That's dangerous, Indiana Jones. They changed the logo. Oh, come on, Disney! You know, even though the movie is about time travel with a magical dial, Dial of Destiny is still a really dumb title. You know, I remember everyone thought The Phantom Menace was a terrible title, but if you're thinking about it from like a pure like 1930s pulp, pulp fiction kind of thing, Phantom Menace is actually like a really awesome title. It's like it's like something from like a Doc Savage book. Attack of the Clones is still stupid.
Who is this man?
I'm her godfather.
Get back.
It's a good thing they gave Indiana Jones time to duck out of the way. Very gracious murderers. Well, there you have it. It's my take on Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Maybe it'll be okay. It's actually not directed by Steven Spielberg. It's directed by James Mangold, who did 3:10 to Yuma and Logan and Ford versus Ferrari. Yeah, but there you go. So, are you excited to see Indiana Jones go back in time and fight the Nazis again and again? Because there's really no other socio-political force that he can politically correctly punch in 1969. So send him back in time. I guess I'll do a reaction when the next trailer comes out, the one that reveals that the plot involves time travel. So I guess we'll see you then.